reality is, guys, is that people don't do this at all. In fact, they avoid any and all, right? How many times have you guys told your friends, I do cold showers, or, I do this thing, and they just kind of look at you thinking like you're an idiot. Well, that's the reason they won't be successful. You cannot keep chasing pleasure, dude. It will keep you locked in a fucking cage. And only as of recently have I truly began to realize this. So just pick a few things. Again, don't torture yourself. Don't do anything masochistic. Don't hurt yourself. I'm not telling you guys to hurt yourself. I want to make that very clear. Don't go do some dumb shit and say, David from Self-Develop told me. That's not what I'm saying. But create some level of boundary, some level of discipline, of self-denial to some form of pleasure for a greater tomorrow. I can't explain it, man. So just pick 1 to 3 things that you can every day implement. And again, it'll change. But always keep at least a couple in your arsenal. Right? Because it's all about keeping your foot on the gas pedal, even just by 10%. That's what keeps you going long term. Taking your foot off the gas pedal completely, sure, you may coast for a little bit, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but after a couple minutes, your car comes to a dead halt. And you are now locked in the cage, like the majority of people. And it's much harder to get out when you're locked in. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And as final plugs, guys, if you'd like to work with me on a personal level, there's always one-on-one coaching. We have group coaching, which is the workshop. It's myself with a small group of men. It consists of 4 one-hour weekly calls live with a private Facebook group. And finally, guys, we have the self-development course, passive, online, pre-recorded, and near 4 hours long. Everything at improving your health, your relationships, finding your passions, and turning them into a business online. You can click down below, guys, to learn more, and there's a 100% money-back guarantee. You guys know the plugs. That is it. Thank you, guys. Let's find ways to mortify ourselves in subtle ways. Subtle. Right? It's all about the small, consistent actions. Not cutting off your hand and now you're useless and you can't do shit. That's not what it's about. Okay? So thank you. Till then, guys. Much love. Peace.
Welcome to this live video on the topic of charisma. How to be more charismatic, how to be more engaging, how to develop a magnetic personality. And this isn't going to be a video with some dumbed down ideas like, well, just be you. Hey, just be you. You want to be charismatic? Just be you. No, we're going really deep. Okay, what you're going to learn in this live video, and yes, this is live, are realizations and epiphanies and principles and even techniques that have taken me over a decade to learn myself, going out almost every single day and interacting with people. This isn't some little bookworm, I'm just staying home and reading and theorizing about charisma. This comes from real life experience. This comes from the field. So if this speaks to you, if you're ready for some raw truth, not some watered down, mainstream, be yourself type of advice. If you want the raw truth, then pay close attention and welcome. Okay, yes, this is live. Seems like sick. Yes, hey boss. Why hello, non-boss, welcome. Charisma, it's all about a firm handshake. Why hello? No. Okay, we're going real deep here on this idea of charisma. You might have been interested, like, okay, well, how do I become more charismatic? You might have even tried to read some books about charisma, and honestly, the majority of information out there, especially in books, is complete BS. Okay, we're going into the truth. Okay, the real truth about charisma. Julian Illuminati confirmed the real truth about the charisma. Yes. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, how to develop charisma, or even in an interaction, how to be more interesting, how to be more engaging, whether it's in a work situation, a friendship situation, a romantic situation, or even going out and just meeting new people, how to have that thing. It's like, that person has that thing that just draws people in. Okay, because there is such a thing. If you line up 10 people and you talk to them each for, say, 30 seconds, some are going to stand out more than others. And it's a nuanced thing. You're like, okay, what is that? Like, what's this aura that stands out? And what we're going to do in this live video is we're going to break it all down. Okay, so the first principle, and this is key, you can write this down, is whatever you feel other person feels. Huge. Whatever you feel, the other person feels. This is the law of state transference. And this here really shows you why so many people fail at being interesting. Because what they do is they say go up and talk to someone, or they're in an interaction, and they're asking themselves, okay, I want to be more interesting in front of this person. How do I do it? Well, what do they find interesting? And let me try to play into that. And what they try to do is they try to push the other person's buttons. Right? Well, I think they like that movie. Let me talk about that movie. And what about that? Hoping that once they push someone else's buttons, that person will perhaps laugh or light up, and then they'll feel better. Oh, see, I'm interesting. And that's the cycle they're hoping for. But that doesn't work. The way it works is instead of trying to push someone else's buttons, flip that around to you, push your own buttons, and by doing so, you're going to start feeling amazing. You're going to tap into, you could say, your power, and that will then transfer onto the other person, and that will draw them in. Okay, it's also the difference between pursuing versus attracting. When it comes to being engaging, when it comes to being interesting or charismatic, it's not about trying to chase someone like, hey, charisma? No. It's about doing it to yourself, and by generating such a powerful, epic aura, people get sucked in. Your goal isn't to pursue, it's not to chase, it's to attract. Now, this still requires action. It's not just sitting there like, attract. No, you still got to take action, but that's the general idea. This is the foundation of it all. Okay? Now, what this also means is you got to learn what buttons to press within yourself and how to do it. Okay? And the next idea is be your own entertainer. You know, you hear this advice left and right, like, don't be a dancing monkey, don't be an entertainer. No. Definitely be a dancing monkey, definitely be an entertainer. However, not for the other person, for you. You are your own dancing monkey. You're your own entertainer, and you better learn what entertains you, what lights you up, what is interesting to you, because when you tap into that, and you become interested by what you're saying, what you're doing, other people will as well, okay? Because if you even think about this idea of interesting, it's just so universal, right? It's like, okay, what is interesting? What's interesting to one person, right? Might not be interesting to another. What defines interesting? It really depends on the individual, right? And you will get sucked into something that you might not objectively find interesting if that other person is interested in it. Okay, so this here lays down the foundation of what we're going to be diving into. Now, if you want this to work, everything that I'm about to cover, if you want it to work, getting to the cause really does come down to letting go. Letting go of all the inner blockages that are preventing you from really unleashing your true self. And if you'd like help with this, okay, how do I unleash that? How do I let go? Then click the link that's going to appear right now, julianmentoring.com, and book a free call with one of my coaches. It's completely free. Okay, we brought back the free call, completely free. Come at this call with your questions, take notes, and you will get customized feedback, a game plan moving forward that will really help you in terms of tapping into that. Okay, julianmentoring.com, and yes, this is live. Okay, someone's like, you should start your own church. You're the smartest person I know. Well, thank you. Let's see here. Someone's like, LOL, why are you so cute? Well, thank you. Best public speakers in the world today, Owen, and then Julian. And then Julian. I see Mark Ranger just said that. And then, I think you meant Julian. Julian first, huh? Who's talking about charisma here? Who's talking about that, the aura? It's me. So, Mark Ranger's like, okay. Well, he didn't actually say that, but we're about to see everyone here in the chat. Mark Ranger, don't let me down. Just comment an okay. Just put okay. Make me look cool. Make me look charismatic a bit. I want to see an okay. Let's see it. There's always one of those comments, right? Why do you look so tired and worn out? Because I'm taking action. Perhaps incorporate some more of that in your life. And also because I'm human.
You know, I joked about this on the last live stream. I ain't no god. I know you think I am. I know you think I don't get tired, but I'm human like you. Do you consider yourself an empath? Yes, massively. And this actually does come into play when it comes to being charismatic and socializing. You better be really attuned to the environment and other people. People who aren't empaths, I'm not necessarily a natural empath, I want to say. It's something that I've developed. But if you aren't aware, you're going to suffer terribly when it comes to socializing. Okay, so Mark didn't comment okay, but a lot of other people did. Thank you to everyone who wrote okay. Thank you. So let's keep diving deep, okay? And definitely participate in the chat. I'm reading it throughout. You'll see me kind of go back and forth, but still comment in the chat. And let's make this interactive. Let's make it fun, okay? Okay, so in terms of pushing your own buttons, this is more of the tactical side. If you want this to work, you better learn how to let go. But in terms of pushing your own buttons, there are 3 main buttons. Okay, you can write this down. Number 1, fun. Number 2, carefree. Number 3, passion. Fun, carefree, passion. These 3 things are really what are at the foundation of charisma and even value when it comes to the vibe of an interaction. Right? What draws people in terms of just the vibe itself, it's fun, carefree, passion. What does that mean? Every single person wants to have more fun, right? Do you know anyone who doesn't want to have more fun? People are just miserable, right? Going through the day-to-day grind. Any little source of fun, like, oh, fun, laughter, wait, what? They're going to go for it. That has value. Number 2, carefree, meaning just not giving an F, right? Relaxing a bit, being more carefree, being more relaxed. Everyone wants that as well. Not taking themselves so seriously. And number 3, passion, right? Being excited and engaged and just, you know, there's that flame of light burning inside of you because you're just so passionate about something. Those 3 things, in terms of the vibe, will attract anyone, okay? Everyone wants to have more fun, be more carefree, and just be engaged in something. People want more. Rarely have fun, way too uptight, always overthinking, overanalyzing, like, oh, everything's just so serious and heavy, and very few people are actually excited about anything, right? They're rarely passionate about something. There's not that thing that just lights them up inside. And when they see someone else tap into that and have that vibe, they will naturally flock to that person because they believe that just by being next to that person, near that person, hopefully some of that will rub off on them. Okay, fun, carefree, passion. Now, your job as your own entertainer is to discover, okay, those are the buttons I got to push within myself. What are they for you? That's what you got to discover. What is your fun button? What is your carefree button? What is your passion button? And when you're interacting with someone and you want to be more charismatic, you want that aura, you're going to have to learn how to press those buttons. Not just that, but you will also have to learn how to be creative and not just learn how to press them with what you say, but also by taking what other people say and whatever is happening in the environment and the environment itself and get creative and link that always to those 3 buttons. Okay? And if you develop this skill, this creative, you could say, inner button pushing, you will be unstoppable. You will never ever have, you could say, a timeout socializing where you don't have a blast. It's simply impossible because no matter what happens, you have that creative skill to take that and link it to those inner buttons. So let's start with fun. Okay, this requires you to discover what you actually find funny. Now, the mistake that people make is they're going to look at other people who they deem as charismatic, and they're going to say, well, that person, they said that joke, and that drawed people in. Or, oh, they had that sense of humor, and that drawed people in. And then they try to replicate it, and that's wrong. Okay? Instead, when you see someone being charismatic, it's not about what they're saying or doing. It's asking yourself, okay, what's my version of that? Look at how they're feeling, not the doing, the being, and ask yourself, what could I say or do to feel that exact same way? Because every person's sense of humor is completely different. And you got to discover yours. Okay, mine, as you probably know if you've been following me for quite some time, is I like the little bit on the edge sense of humor. If you're familiar with the movie Borat, or one of my favorite shows ever, Who is America, right? Sacha Baron Cohen. Amazing, amazing work. Do I like him or agree with him as a person? No, at all. But love his work. Absolutely love his work. I also recently discovered this TV show called Nathan for You. Amazing show. I can't believe I haven't seen that sooner. That's my type of humor, right? Kind of on a little bit of a prank, kind of stretching things, and a little bit of, you could say dark, messed up humor. That's what I find funny, right? So say I want to make myself laugh, I want to press that fun button within myself, I know exactly what to do. I can take, for example, a topic of an interaction and just steer it a bit in that direction and laugh. Genuinely laugh. And you got to discover what that is for you. Okay, now, don't worry, this might take some time, but some practical things you can do is, number one, watch comedy, right? Stand-up comedy. I wish you could go in person and watch it, but hey, go online, right? Go on Netflix, YouTube, you name it, and just look up stand-up comedy and watch it until you genuinely laugh. Not a fake laughter, but genuine laughter, till it like bubbles up and you're like, like laughing, alone at home, like, oh, that's so funny. It might take an hour, might take a few days, might take a week or so, but keep at it. Okay, try different comics, different sense of humor, and just see what really, you tap into. Okay, for myself, I'm very logical, very analytical. It actually took a while for me to enjoy stand-up comedy. I would watch it at first, and the whole time I'd be analyzing it. I'd be like, oh, I see how they set up that joke there. Ooh, that's interesting. And even going to live stand-up shows, which is something that once I actually started really getting into it, I try to do every single week in Los Angeles. You had the best comedy scene ever. New York's really good too, but LA Comedy Store, LA Improv, amazing. So I'd go there, and literally at first I'm like, analyzing. Everyone was laughing. I'm like, I'm analyzing, getting the value. Terrible. I had to drop your analytical mind, and just see if you can feel it. And actually, that'll give you a glimpse. Okay, and then ask yourself, okay, the jokes that I laugh at the most, comedians I laugh at the most, what's the vibe? What's the texture? What's the style? And make a note. Okay, that's practice number one. Practice number two is, throughout your day, audit when you laugh. And if you're someone who laughs a lot. If you aren't, perhaps lower the bar. Another intellectual trap is people are like, the joke has to be really well thought out, or it has to be very, very funny for me to laugh. No. Lower the bar. Laugh more. Be like a kid. Any little thing. Laugh. Okay? But make a note. I laughed at that. Before you go into bed, ask yourself, what did I laugh at today? And say you just 3 things. You have to make a list of 3 things before going to bed. 3 things you found funny, 3 things you said or did that made you laugh. And if you can't come up with 3 things, make that a mission, right? Go throughout your day with that on your mind. You know what, today I'm going to do or say 3 things that I'm going to find funny. Say you do that for 30 days, 3 things per day. Now you have 90 things. Take that list after 30 days and compartmentalize it. Be like, okay, well, that I find funny kind of goes hand in hand with this, and that is more on that style. And guess what? That will show you your themes that light you up. Okay? This here, extremely useful when it comes to pushing your own buttons, right? Pushing the fun, laugh button. That's the first one. Okay, now we're going to go a lot deeper. Don't worry, we're going to cover the rest. I'm just taking a look at the chat here. Let's see here. Someone's like, everything is funnier on shrooms. I've actually never done that, but try to do it sober. Okay, this is actually key when it comes to personality development. It doesn't take away from whatever you want to do. However, a question you may want to ask yourself is, what state do I find myself in most of the time? And the answer, most likely, I hope, is sober. All right, if you audit your week, the majority of your week, you're sober. That's the personality that you have the most access to. That's the one you want to work on. If you indulge in different substances, do you, but realize that if you then start working on yourself, you're only working on yourself that is under that influence. This is why people who drink are really screwed when it comes to socializing, because they need the drink to access that charisma they've been cultivating while drinking, right? People before a date, just like, I need my drink before the date to access the charisma part of me. Because they haven't been working on, you could say, their core personality. So try and challenge yourself and do it sober. Let's see. Someone's like, I smoked for the first time last Saturday. Okay. You can also see, right? It's just, I wanted to make it engaging, but I mean, I don't know. Is this content something just you're like, well, you know, my biggest takeaway from this content, weed. I hope it's a little deeper than that. Let's see. I was like, I'm gonna not smoking consistently helps you loosen up. You could say yes, but here's the thing: you're then giving your power away to that. Why can't you just loosen up on your own? Okay, how do you loosen up, by the way? Letting go of inner blockages. How do you do that? You go to JulianMentoring.com. Okay, you can book a free call with one of my coaches, completely free. Even if you're shy, don't worry, we customize it to you. Okay, it's not a lot of pressure. It can be really chill, it can be really intense. It's customized to you. We brought that back. JulianMentoring.com. How do I improve my public speaking? By applying what I'm breaking down here. But great question. Okay, button number 2, carefree. Okay, how to loosen up. The best way here, and this one you can actually intertwine it with the fun button, is to learn how to laugh at who? You. Laugh at yourself. And if you're actually creative like this, you can use things to laugh at you. You tap the fun button and the carefree button. Okay, this one here, key. Okay, a formula you can add for this button here is embrace, exaggerate, laugh. Embrace, exaggerate, laugh. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about a client. This is years ago. It was in London, actually. And we were out, and he wanted to work on his social skills. So we were out having fun, talking to people. Very shy, introverted person. And halfway through, it was an evening. He comes to me. He's like, you know what? I just don't think it's ever going to work for me. You know, it's just not clicking. I'm just not having fun. I'm just miserable. And I feel like I just want to give up, you know? That's the state he was in. Now, what most people will tell that person is, hey, just put a little smile on your face and go out there. It'll be fun. No. Embrace, exaggerate, laugh. So what I told him is, hey, number 1, let's embrace what you're feeling. Don't go against what you're feeling. Let's embrace it. You feel sad, embrace it. Number 2, exaggerate it to the point where you then laugh at it. And by doing so, not only do you take the power that it has on you away from it, but you then also push the fun and carefree button. So notice, you can take anything, right? I'm out of state, I'm sad. Take that and be creative enough to link it to fun, carefree, or passion. So what he then did is he went up to someone, and instead of pretending to have a great time, he's like, hey, we can say his name is Ben. Right? Hey, my name's Ben. I'm just really sad, you know, and then exaggerating it. You know, I really am so sad. I should have watched, you know, more Julian videos. I'm just so pathetic, like just exaggerating it to the point where he didn't really laugh yet, but a hint of a smile clicked in. Then guess what? The reaction actually wasn't bad. Oh, the smudge of fun and carefree, okay. 30 seconds later, he leaves. He comes back to me. Like, okay, next one. Hey, you know, and this time, because he felt a little bit better from that, he then had to embrace that. So you embrace your way up. You went to the next person. He's like, hey, you know what? I used to feel way sadder a minute ago, but I feel a little bit less sad now. And actually chuckled. And just kept going and got himself into an amazing state where he was laughing, having a blast. Embrace, exaggerate, laugh, right? No matter what people say, I have people like, oh, you know, your shirt's just terrible. Oh yeah, well, I know. It makes me more attainable. You know, I'm too beautiful and amazing otherwise, and I gotta, you know, peasant it out, so to say. Right? Embrace, exaggerate, laugh. Now, by doing so, this is the art of, you could say, social alchemy. You change something that might be against you to your benefit. right? If someone's like, oh, I hate your shirt. And you're like, oh, this shirt, yeah, me too. Everyone hates it. You know, my mom hates it. That's why I wear it. Where did that come from? If that's the comment, like notice something technically negative, use to your advantage, reframe to something positive because you took that and hit the fun carefree. Okay, that there, social alchemy, game changer when it comes to being interesting, interacting with people, leading a conversation, just always having a blast. Because once you master this, and creativity does play into it, once you know your sense of humor, you know how to creatively link things, and you know how to laugh at yourself by that embrace, exaggerate, laugh formula, you're really unstoppable. No matter what happens out there, you're always going to have a blast because you just turn that into gold, into social gold. So that's button number 2, carefree. Okay? Someone's like, I love that shirt. Well, thank you. I don't. I can send you a new shirt. I would appreciate a new shirt. Nathan for you is a comedic genius. I agree. He actually worked. I looked into it. He worked on the Who's America show too, which was brilliant. And that made a lot of sense. Of course he would. That's 100% my humor, by the way. If you ever watch Who's America, Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, genius bits. Especially a scene. I think you can find it on YouTube. Just look up Who is America Chef or Michelin starred dinner. And there's this whole scene where, you know, he's dressed up as this chef that got out of jail, one of the characters he plays, and there's this Michelin tasting critique, right? And he brings them dish after dish, and every dish is more and more extreme, and it's one of the most insane and funniest things you've ever seen. So that's 100% my humor, right? But notice, I can just describe it. You should be able to describe it like that as well. Okay? Sounds like, where is your Swiss accent? Your Switzerland accent. Well, guess what? There is no Swiss language, so you can't have a Swiss accent. Hey, can't have an accent if there ain't no language. Yeah, Who is America Chef? That one's amazing. There's also a Who is America segment with O.J. Simpson, which is amazing as well. I mean, that entire show is a million out of 10. Million out of 10. Nathan for you as well, but I would even say Who's America is better than Nathan for you. Okay? And then if you want some amazing comics to check out, okay? I'm trying to think, okay, who's left who isn't canceled? Some amazing comics to check out. You know what? There aren't any. That's the truth. They're all canceled. Alright, so, no, if you want the truth, love Eric Griffin. He's not canceled yet, so that's good. Eric Griffin. Russell Brand in the past was amazing. He's still on point, but more on the new spiritual side now versus comedy. I think one of his pinnacle segments was the Messiah complex. This whole show, it was so... I mean, for him to pull that off, just the amount of knowledge packed into comedy and just how well thought out and how worded it was beautiful. Jim Jeffries is amazing. He's not canceled. Okay? Jim Jeffries. Otherwise, Theo Vaughn, and then a bunch of canceled ones. Alright, so you can go down the rabbit hole of, okay, canceled comedians, and you might find some gold. Let's see. Someone's like, R.I.P. Who do we see? Oh, Bill Burr's really good. You know who's actually also really good? Chris Rock's brother, Tony Rock. Underground-ish. I think that might have been one of the best sets I've seen live. It was amazing. Andrew Santino is what? 10 out of 10. Okay, so first 2 buttons. Number 3, passion. Okay, and this is asking yourself once more, well, what is an interesting topic? No. What do you find interesting? What are you passionate about? Right? And then bringing that into the mix. If you're like, how to become interesting, fun, carefree, and then talk about what you're passionate about, no matter what it is. Right? You could be into math, for example, and if you're really, really passionate by mathematics, people will be drawn in. Okay? You could talk about anything, and people will be drawn in if you're passionate about it. So make a list. What lights you up? What excites you? Right? Is it, for example, we were talking about comedy a bit. Right? Does comedy light you up? Guess what? You want to be interesting? Start talking about that. Be like, by the way, you know, out of the comics that aren't canceled yet, there's still a few good ones. And then crack into that. You like math? Hey, did you know that 2 + 2 = 4? Crack into that. Instead of asking yourself, what do they find interesting? No one wants that. They want to be drawn into what you find interesting. And that's also how they learn more about you, no matter what it is. Okay, don't be like, that's not cool. Everything is cool if you're passionate about it. Everything. Even if it's really nerdy, you could be into magic cards, whatever. If you're super into it, you're like, look, the magic cards, people will love it. Okay, for the longest time, this is back in the day, around, I want to say 2011, 2010, 2012, I was really into this TV show called The Vampire Diaries. Okay, it's a kind of a chick flick vampire show, and I, for some reason, I just really, really love that show. And that's all I could talk about. That's it. And guess what? I'd be out talking to people, hey, check this out. Do you know the show Vampire Diaries? And I'll just go on this long tangent talking about vampire, chick flick, love triangles, and people would get drawn in. Why? Because I was excited about it, and people love being a part of that passion. If you see someone super into whatever it is they're talking about or doing, people love being a part of that, because most people really aren't that passionate about anything. Okay, that's even why a lot of people even watch stuff on social media or YouTube, because they're seeing someone, like me, talking about something they're passionate about, and they're like, oh, that's so exciting. I'm involved in the passion. Rub off on me, passion. Rub off on me. That's why they do it. So ask yourself and make a list. What do you find exciting? What, tickles your pickle? What lights you up inside? What you really could just talk about for hours and hours and hours, and start injecting that into your conversations. Okay? How do you make someone laugh? By making yourself laugh. Okay, going back to what we talked about before, whatever you feel the other person feels, it's not how do I make them laugh, it's you want them to laugh, make yourself laugh. They are a mirror of you. Oh, you want them to be interested in what you're saying? Talk about something you're interested in. That's how you do it. You go first. Okay, you studied NLP, which you probably won't believe it, but I haven't. I have to. It's on my list of things to look into, but there's a whole saying, this I know, going first. Right? You want them to feel that way? You have to feel that way first. You have to step in first. You want them to laugh? Make yourself laugh. That's the only way. You're not going to be like super down and like, I'm going to say the joke. Laugh, unless it's a dad joke. Okay, if you want a couple good dad jokes, by the way, which you can also pull out. Number one, these are not from me, but you can use them. What does outer space and the NBA have in common? They both have shooting stars. Get it? Shooting stars. You can use that. And another one is, what do you call a bunch of cats that make a mess? A catastrophe. There you go. That's your arsenal. How to make someone laugh? What about cats? The catastrophe. Use that. Sounds like Julian dropping gold. Why, thank you. Simon's saying, I'm a passionate guy, bro. Great. I'm going to say the joke, now laugh. Let's see here. Mark Ranger, you didn't say okay, but I appreciate the ha 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 ha. Thank you. Someone's like, LOL, so dumb but funny. True, right? That's actually the key. It's like, look, it's not in the content, and this is also very important. When it comes to being interesting, it's not the words. Okay, if you want another little model here you can use, think of it like this. There are 4 layers of communication. And I'm going to make another video probably going way deeper on this, don't worry. But there are 4 layers of communication. There's what you say, and this is what everyone's focused on. What do I say? Then there's how you say it. Then there's your intention behind it. And then there's, you could say, your self-esteem, your self-worth, just how you feel about yourself in terms of a human. Those are the 4 layers. The deeper you go, the more powerful. However, the way our mind works, the way we're conditioned, is we flip it around. We think that the surface one is the most powerful. We think that the words are the most powerful. No. Sure, you gotta make sense, but it's much more powerful to tune into how you say those words. Right? The words, you can say them a certain way, you can say them another way, very different. right? Subcommunications, that's layer number 2. But then even under that, right, the intention. For example, offering value, taking value. You can ask a question where you're taking value. You can ask a question where you're offering value. Taking value. Hey, do you know where the church is? Taking value. Hey, do you know where the church is? Offering value. That's the intention. Okay, and this is it sounds a little mystical, right? But if you want to tap into that, the intention, it's a layer. This is pre-verbal. Look at yourself in the mirror, and you can do this exercise, right? Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, if I had to communicate right now that I'm really angry, but I can't move my body. You can't make any facial expressions, it's just a neutral face, but you have to communicate that you're really mad. You tap into a certain frequency, you could say. And then at a deeper level, you can say your level of self-esteem. The deeper you go, the more powerful. So when it comes to an interaction, I'm much more aware of those deeper layers than the surface one. The surface one doesn't really have to make any sense. You can even be very ADD about it. As long as sub-communications, intention, vibe, or like self-esteem, those are in check, golden. Okay, you can also write this down, key sentence. The words are simply the vehicle for someone to experience you. The value's not in the words. It's in everything that's, you could say, that's underneath it, right? Those layers below. So keep that in mind. And then, someone's like, how can I not be boring? By applying everything that we covered in this live video, and more importantly, by clicking the link below. Okay, this leads us to an even deeper layer where if you have trouble, for example, expressing yourself, it's because there are inner blocks. You know, we call this being stifled. This is why if you talk to someone, you might believe you're in the same league or you're outside their league. You never really run out of things to say, right? All of this just kind of automatically flows. Yet, if you talk to someone you believe is outside your league, you freeze up. That there, no matter how many tips and tricks and even the advice that we cover here, no matter how much you apply that, it's not going to fix you being stifled. That comes down to letting go. That's the self-esteem layer, the fourth one. If you'd like help with that, if you want to know the process, because it's a lot deeper than anything we talked about here, go to Julian Mentoring and book a free call with one of my coaches. It's completely free. Do this now while it's on your mind, right? JulianMentoring.com, or just click the link below this video, fill out a quick application, and book a free call. It's completely free, and not just that, but on the call at the end, you also get a free meditation that will help you with this. Okay, so ask my coach your questions, get personalized feedback depending on you, learn about letting go, get a game plan moving forward, and get a free meditation. This is not going to be like this forever, but JulianMentoring.com, go there right now and make it happen. Okay? So,
Hey, how are you?
I'm like, what? This is crazy. Yeah, no, in the past, I would do, if you aren't that familiar with MOA, in the past, I would actually do free events, free live events, free seminars every single Thursday. The typical week for me is I'm traveling around the world. Every single week, I'm in a new city or new country. And every Thursday, I have a free live event. And on the weekend, I have paid events. And now with whatever is going on, there is no travel, can't do the free events, but I can offer this free call.
Great.
I've always, from the beginning of my teaching back in 2010, had a free option. Right? Of course, there's paid programs, paid coaching, but there's always been a free option. Right? It was called the free tour. I've also always put a lot of free content out on social media, and now since there can't be the free tour, no matter who you are, if you want some personalized help, because again, if you don't get personalized help, or you could say light shine on blind spots you have, it's really hard to succeed, even with all the free advice out there. So what I can do is offer the free call. Okay? If you'd like to take advantage while it's there, JulianMentoring.com, and get a free guided letting go meditation. So there really is no excuse. Now you're someone like, well, look at my life, I'm so stuck. No, you aren't. The link's right there. Nothing's blocking you from filling that. If you can't fill out a free call, if you can't jump on something free, you're really not going to make it far. So, if this speaks to you, if this doesn't, go to TikTok, go distract yourself. You're probably not to be rude, you're probably not going to make it that far in this whole success realm. But if this does speak to you, JulianMentoring.com. Go there right now and book a free call. Okay, you fill out a quick application. I read through all of them myself. So JulianMentoring.com. Cool. Let's see. Reading through the chat here. Someone's like, sup. Best way to say hi. I mean, best way to say hi is once more to apply what we talked about here. Right? You want to say hi to someone, instead of how do I say hi to them? Ask yourself, how do I attract them? How do I draw them in to the party that I have going? So you need to learn how to generate that party. Fun, carefree passion. The whole vibe in hello is, hey, check this out. Fun thing going on, hey, check this out. Draw them in. That's the intention. The intention is, check this out. Sounds like, yes, this speaks to me. Awesome. Mike, book that call. I look forward to reading through your application. Let's see. What about holding back because of fearing people think you are obsessed? Obsessed with, what do you mean obsessed? Okay, this brings in another subtlety where, yeah, you got to tap into all that. But remember, an interaction is two people. So that's on your end, right? Fun, carefree passion. But then you also have to make sure that the other person you're talking to is engaged and is loving it. Right? If you're talking about something and say it's a little too intense and they're like, right? You're like, 2 + 2 = 4, 4 + 2 = 8. And they're like, then it's, you gotta learn how to do that. That's social intelligence, right? Making it relatable as well. But in terms of the foundation of charisma, that's what I talked about here. Okay, and it also, I know I kind of mocked it, that be a self, but it really comes down to, with the fun, passion, and carefree, owning who you are, right? You can also look back at your childhood and ask yourself, what did I find interesting then? What was I excited about then? What are some fun things, some fun quirks about me, or unique quirks? That draws people into, right? Like the whole Vampire Diaries kind of moved just a little bit out there, draws people in. Okay. Another one, on a more music level, I'm a musician too. Right? I love music. Favorite band, The Doors. But okay, I have 2 playlists. I think a lot of people do. I have my, ride or die passion music, and then I kind of have my guilty pleasure. And I've talked about this a lot with people. I'm like, in the guilty pleasure, there's a band. There's a few songs from this band. It's called Cimarelli, and it's 6 sisters who sing together. It's the most, you could say, chick girly band ever, but for some reason I just love it. And just talking about that and being, there's 6 sisters and check it out and showing that to people draws them in. What's your version? And if there is one takeaway from this live, it's, hey, go listen to Cimarelli. How do I stop being so quiet? Let go of the fear or conditions that's blocking. Right? You have inner blockages, very easy to fix. You want help with that? JulianMentoring.com. Go to the link. We'll go to, let's see, is there a few more here? Oh God. Best tip to overcome social anxiety, let go of what's keeping it alive. Right? All of this, by the way, this is also key when it comes to socializing, social skills, social tips, right? What I talked about here, you can tap into it, and it's really something that works once you are unstifled, right? Once you're unstifled, you're not quiet, you don't have social anxiety, you're just in the flow of things. You can use this, right? Familiarizing yourself with those inner buttons to really take it to a whole other level. But if you are like just really off to begin with, this won't necessarily help. Okay, that there is fixed through letting go. 80% to even 90% of social skills advice is really fixed through letting go. And you've got to differentiate, or this is also another takeaway, differentiate advice when it comes to confidence, self-esteem, anxiety, state management, all that, letting go. Then there's still the 10% or so left, and that's more tactical, right? A little bit more on the practical end. understanding, for example, some social intelligence stuff, but the majority is really not through letting go, right? All those other techniques are simply little band-aids placed upon this larger wound, which is fixed through letting go, right? I have social anxiety, now what? Not now what? Why do you have social anxiety? Oh, because of this and my past and that, and the way I've been conditioned, different experiences that I've had. Process that through letting go. What is a good conversation? A conversation that you love. Rewatch this line. Rewatch it. Let's see. How do you let go? Love that you asked that. Go to julianmentoring.com. Right? You can ask my coach about the process, about letting go, and get a free letting go meditation. julianmentoring.com. It's easy. It's easy. Let's get one or two more here. What happens when you let go of everything? Maybe I'll make a live about that. That might actually be a great topic for you. You know what? Maybe coming soon. If you want to make sure you catch it, Joffrey, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification so you know when I go live, because not all of these stand. It's like I'm rewatching. Cool. Rewatch it while it's up, and yeah, take it to heart. Right? This also, I guess this would be the last big point. Once you stop overthinking, let it go. Okay, things like that, like overthinking, stuck in my head, stifled. Stop looking for little techniques. That's really all done through the work. You got to differentiate between the inner work, which is 80-90%, and the outer work. Now, 2 minutes. The last thing I'll say is once you really get this too, and this is the great thing that happens, is because you're pushing your own buttons, right? The fun, carefree passion, you're having a blast. This eradicates any neediness. It simply does, right? If you think about it, like, why do you want someone, like, how do I make someone laugh? You want them to laugh so that then you feel good. What you're doing here is you're making yourself feel good, independently of others. And because of that, right, suddenly you have that outcome you believe that other person holds the key to. They hold the keys to me feeling good. No, you're making yourself feel good. They don't. And now because you feel good, you have that thing and you're still, say, interacting with them, there's no neediness. And because you need nothing from them, they automatically need more from you, and they will start chasing you, and you create this vacuum effect that enhances once more charisma, magnetic personality, supercharged personality, aura, whatever you want to, right? Okay, so this here, some key models to apply to your life. As I mentioned, if you want more personalized help, you can book a free call, julianmentoring.com, as well as get a free meditation. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification. There will be a lot more lives like this one here. And one last thing I want from you is post below this video, not in the chat, but in the comments so I can read it after. Post your biggest takeaway. Post the part during this live. If you jumped on halfway through, so watch it from the beginning. We go really deep on these. There's a ton of information. So post below the video once you've gone through this your biggest takeaway, the thing that really spoke to you the most. I love reading through that. It allows me to also learn more about you, right? What you resonate with, where your RAS, your focus picks up on, and customize future lives and content more to you. So biggest takeaway, comment below, not in the chat, comment, right? So it sticks and I can read through it. And other than that, let's see here. Just doing one last scroll through the chat. Someone's like, yo, he wants to end it in a positive way. You know what? I don't. There's gonna be, we're gonna I like that. We're gonna roll with that, right? Embrace, exaggerate, laugh. We're gonna end this in the most sad way ever. Okay, so I'm trying to think how we will do this. You know what? I don't know. That's whole end. You know what? There's just, I don't know. We'll end it with blue balls. Blue balls. Alright? You're expecting me to go down the sad route. I'm not. You know what? Screw this, screw you, screw everyone. We're just ending it like that.
What is my dark side? And I had to analyze it and deal with it and think about how any success I've had in life is because because I managed to use those dark emotions in my work and channel them.
I think you gotta have a dream.
The School of Greatness.
Yeah.
Please welcome.
Welcome back, everyone, to the School of Greene podcast. I am so excited. We have one of my favorite guests back on the show, Robert Greene, who is a New York Times bestseller of many books: The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, The 33 Strategies of War, The 50th Law, Mastery, and The Laws of Human Nature, which is one of my favorites that you've done. So, welcome back, my friend. You were the first episode of the School of Greatness, episode 1. I think we're at episode 1020, somewhere around there now. So you're episode 1 almost 8 years ago.
Wow, I'm so honored.
It's fun, man. And we just did our 1000th episode. We did the top 10 moments of all 1000 episodes. And you were the number 1 moment.
Oh, really?
You were the number 1 moment.
Which interview?
The first one. We talked about the first one. And we talked about how, I launched this with an idea and a dream to inspire people, but I launched it with 1 episode and 1 listener and 1 guest. And you were the first guest. Thankfully, you came on. And, more than 1 person listened, but you launched something, and the first person has to buy your book and read it. The first person has to listen. The first person has to watch the movie. Like, you got to start with 1. So it's been fun to look back now over 250 million downloads. 1,000 episodes. We get over 10 million downloads a month, and it all started with you.
I feel very humble and very appreciative.
Yeah,
Very grateful that I could do that for you, because you deserve it.
Thank you.
Some people, you wonder a little bit. They're kind of, I don't know if they're very substantial, but you deserve it.
I appreciate it. I think my mission's always been, I think we have a lot of similarities in the fact that, well, we don't in the fact that you're way smarter and more talented than me as a writer, but we observe people and we observe history and human behavior.
Yeah.
And we just do it in different ways.
Yeah.
You're great at researching and putting together ideas, complex ideas from the past and present, to making something understandable of how we can improve our life. And I think I'm really good at reading human beings.
You are.
And observing environments.
You are.
Observing body language to try to connect.
I saw that in our last interview when you were interviewing me about the human nature book. Your questions were really pertinent. You really understood. You've obviously been a student of psychology and human behavior for a long time. So
Thank you. Appreciate it. My first question is, we had you on a couple years ago, right after you had a stroke, which was, you almost died, right? Your wife was in the car with you. I think you were driving.
I was driving.
Your wife essentially said, pull over because something was wrong. And you were like, no, everything's fine. As you were like, falling over or something. And she essentially saved her life and your life by stopping, recognizing it. Went to the hospital, you had a stroke, and it's been a 2-year recovery. I saw you last time, and I was really sad of the physical well-being, because I want to see you healthy. But you've had a pretty positive attitude, I think, in the last couple of years. I'm curious, what has been the biggest lesson for you with going through a massive stroke, where it's hindered your relationships, where it's hindered your physical activity, or ability to work on the things you're passionate about? What's been the big lessons?
Well, I'm a very driven person, so I wasn't going to let this defeat me, because the alternative was losing hope and becoming suicidal, and I wasn't going to let that happen. Also, I knew I had another book that I really, really wanted to write, so I had to keep living, and I was in a coma for a while, and things were a little bit touch and go during that, and I feel like there was something really inside of me unconsciously that kept me alive. The other good thing is, swimming, hiking, riding. It just so happens, just by coincidence, that I was driving when my wife was there,